in your health. I know that you got the x-rays on time, and now you're at this appointment, which gives you more information and empowers you to make really good decisions for yourself for the future. So let's talk about things that we like to talk about here, which is health and wellness. And we really like to empower you in terms of making healthy choices. So in your mind, if you thought about things that would compose a healthy lifestyle, what would come to mind for you?
Food, good.
Okay,
Food.
I'm going to change your word and we're going to say diet. So that's definitely a good one. Yeah, diet. Rest, good. You're doing very well. Yeah.
Sport.
Exercise, well done. You're doing very well. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, what about managing stress?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting that you're here and you didn't mention chiropractic. Okay. And the reason why I say that is that these are all the things that we know we can control on the outside of our body, right? We can control what we eat and how healthily we eat. We can control how many hours of sleep we get a night, which is really important. That's when your body does a lot of its healing and recuperating. In terms of exercise, you can choose what type of exercise, how frequently you exercise, how demanding that exercise is on your body. And then stress management as well. Stress management in our day and age is super important, whether you're a mom with 4 kids or you're working a high-powered corporate job. Stress is there, and especially with these COVID times. So these are things that if we gather most health professionals into the same room, they all mention this. But what they don't mention, which is super empowering for me, is the fact that your body is designed to heal and function at its best. Okay, and that's really where we emphasize chiropractic. So at Advanced Chiropractic Studio, we love to talk about these factors and empower you. So if you're not following us on social media, if you have Facebook or Instagram, we love to give you tips and hints about this, not only about your nervous system. But today we're really going to talk about why addressing the power within that nervous system and how it's designed to help you heal and function is really, really important. So if this is your bucket of health, okay, this is your bucket of health here, and we put input into the bucket of health all the time. These really, really good inputs. They then help us fill the bucket, right, every day. But there are also things that come from this that then deplete our bucket, and that is exercising in excess, or the type of exercise you do. Eating, we can control what we eat, but now there's pesticides in our food and things like that. So that starts to drain from our bucket. But how do we reinforce this bucket, and how do we keep the bucket, as full as we can get it, while there's still things detracting from our health bucket on a daily basis? And that's where chiropractic comes into play. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about your anatomy and what a subluxation is, because I know I've mentioned that concept to you a bit. There's a subluxation. So if you look at that little model that I gave you, and we just had a look at your x-rays as well, we talked about the vertebra, okay, and how the vertebra should be shaped and how they should function, and also the curves that come with the vertebra. In specific for you, we looked at your neck, okay, your neck has 7, your upper back has 12, and your lower back has 5. And every time you've been here, we've adjusted you. There's a subluxation. Every time we found something in your lower back and your upper back, but more specifically for you in your neck, okay? And we're trying to reinforce or get that curve to start behaving normally again, okay? So the subluxation is when one of those vertebrae is just not moving the way it should. It starts to put pressure on that nerve, and then that nerve and the quality of information that's coming from your brain to your body through those nerves is being depleted all the time. So it's really important for us, especially in those key areas where we found your body is taking strain in the spine, to establish good signals from the brain to that area of the body again, to make sure your body is not only pain-free, but more importantly, functioning at its best. That the signals from the brain to the body and vice versa are really starting to communicate effectively. Okay, so that's what the subluxation is, and it happens with things from the time you're born to now. So your birthing process, the way you learn to sit, stand and crawl, and all the things you do in your daily life now, working on the computer, the way you sleep, the way you stand, that puts stress on the spine. Okay, and once we restore that curvature, and once your body starts functioning at its best, it becomes more resilient to stress. Okay, and that's really the premise of chiropractic, is to help make sure that your bucket is resilient to those things that start to allow water to leak. So we look at your adaptability to stress. When you buy a car, you drive it off the showroom floor and it functions beautifully, right? Drives like a dream, and you expect it to drive like that all the time. And then we start to hear noises coming from the bonnet, and we go, oh my gosh, I need to get my car in for a service before something happens and I can't use this car. Okay, so this can happen with something small, like a sound that comes from your tire, or sound that comes from the bonnet, or a squeaking, even when your windscreen wiper doesn't work, and we almost fix it immediately because we know how dangerous that can be for us. The same happens with the subluxation. Okay, the subluxation starts to produce different little warning signs in our body that most people have stopped paying attention to. And it's very important that we become more in tune with that now. Okay, so when we look at your adaptability to stress, when you're born really flexible, right? Have you seen a baby put their foot in their mouth? Things like that. The spine is nice and supple. There's lots of room for the nervous system to start growing, changing, adapting. But as we go through life stresses, the things that start detracting from our bucket, we start to see subluxations happen. Okay, and what's really important is they then start to reduce your body's ability to adapt to stress. So instead of being able to run as far as you normally do, or instead of getting a full night's sleep, or being comfortable when you're sitting, now you're just not getting that anymore. You've lost this adaptability to stress, and instead of your body functioning at 100%, you're now only functioning at 70%. And for you, probably even a little bit less now. I mean, we've only really started to see your body start to change and feel better now. But when you came in, you were in a lot of discomfort and a lot of pain. And that's just one of the signs that tell me your body is not performing at its best. It's not adapting to things you consider to be normal, like working, sleeping, things like that. So when we look at this and we start to think of it as one of those things that fill your bucket, reinforce your bucket, it should be something that we consider doing on a regular basis. You don't eat well one day of the week and decide to eat McDonald's the rest of the week, right? That's just not how health works. Health is something that you have to reinforce daily to remind your body these are the things that keep me healthy, keep me thriving. And chiropractic we consider to be one of them. Okay, so we get you out of this discomfort phase, we push you right through that, and then we start to empower you with the knowledge that this is how good your body could be functioning all the time. So when we think about it like that, we should start to encourage it becoming one of those things that we use to maintain our health, keep us feeling healthy and good. And when you know that, then, I mean, why aren't we encouraging everyone to get adjusted as regularly as they exercise, or as regularly as you get your teeth checked, things like that, because you use your spine every day. It's an interesting concept, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so with this in mind, do you have any questions? Because I gave you a lot of information today with your x-ray as well. Do you have any questions in terms of what you saw in the x-ray and how it affects your ability to adapt to stress?
Well, my diet is okay, my sleep and my rest. I think also exercise only from physiotherapy. Mm-hmm. For the rest, nothing at the moment. And stress is, I think that's the big thing.
the big thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we underplay how much stress affects us, right? Stress, when you're feeling stress, not only does it manifest physically as tension or tightness, but chronic stress gives us higher inflammatory.
Okay.
Chronic.
Yeah,
Yes. Chronic stress gives us high inflammatory markers in the body, which means that we are feeling or experiencing pain at a higher level. We're also just not functioning as well as we could. Different hormones and different processes in the body change with inflammation. So it is really important that we start to manage stress. So perhaps stress management is the one that we need to focus on for you and getting that right. And it's all about balancing these on a regular basis, because most people come in and say, oh, but I exercise 5 times a week, I'm healthy, but they eat McDonald's or they drink every day, and it can't be one or the other. Health is about addressing all of those aspects because everything works in unison. Okay, this is a way you can strengthen your body without having to be as critical on the outside aspects.
Yeah.